is logged in. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for the late. Usually I'll start at 6:65, 6:05 less than 6:05 only. I'll start my session. Yeah. Let me continue. This class is Web UI Technologies. Here UI, here it is user interface. Here UI. This class is here Web UI programming. Here UI, here it is user interface. We can create user interactive page by using this UI technologies. Here we can create user interactive page. What is this user interface? What is this user interactive page? See here, user interface here. In this time, when you enter any URL in the browser, suppose if you enter facebook.com, here, whenever we enter facebook.com, you can see that Facebook homepage of the application. Here, you can see that Facebook homepage of our application. In this time, we can ask the user to enter their email ID and password. Once we click on the submit button, data will be submitted to server. Here, data is submitting to server. Server will connect it to database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every server programming. Front end always interact with the server page always interact with the database. So this type of interactions we can see in every web page. Here in Gmail, suppose if I enter my email ID and I entered my password. So after entering that email ID and password, once we click on this login button, here login button, once we click on this login button, that user interface, this is one UI. This UI page will always interact with the server page. This server page always interact with the database. Here database. These database pages are here MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle. Like this, any one database page we can use it. Here, these database pages are MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle. Any one database page we can store our details. So what is storing and what is accessing here? If you are creating your account with this UI page, that is here creating our details in the database. So we are inserting whenever we create our account here, create account page of the Facebook, that time you will fill your complete application form here, email ID, first name, last name, all informations you will fill here. After filling it, this will interact with the PHP page. This PHP page will interact with here PHP page or a .NET page or a Java page, any one server page. This server page will interact with the database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front end to server, server to database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front end programming. Here is our UI page. UI page is interacting with a server page. Server page is always interacting with the database. So here, this time what happened here, whenever we submit our data to server, definitely we have to interact with the, we have to store our details or access our details from database. So database is very important for us to storing our data and accessing our data. Okay. Here this server page, what it will do here, the server page is connected to database. Database will back it input to server page. So server page is a mediator to interact with the front end page to database. See here, I want to log in for my Facebook. So I'll write here Facebook login. Here you can see that Facebook login. Under this, here Facebook login, you can see here. So this time you can see that how to see that Facebook login page. Here this is my create account page. In this create account page, whenever we submit our data, here I'm submitting my data here. So this time here I'm creating my account with this Facebook. So once I click on the submit button of this Facebook, this data will reach to server page. Once I click on the submit button of this Facebook, this data will reach to server page. Server will store our data in the database. Here, this submit, once you click on submit button, this front end page is interact with server page. server will store our data in the database. So database, what it will do, yeah, front end page is interacting with a server page. So server is interacting with database. So in this interaction time, whenever our front end page is interacting with the server page, so that time that server page, what it will do here, the server page will store our data in database or access our data from the database. So here, if I already existing user without any writing data, if I submit it, I'll get this error messages. So this is one complete user interactive page, any web page, not only Facebook, any web page. If you are submitting any data here, so it always interact with the server to database. Here from this URL, you can understand here loading.php. So it is one front end page. Once I click submit button after filling all these details, once I click submit button, this total data will reach to loading.php. Means this front end page is interacting with a PHP page. So this is one URL example for front end is interacting with a, here front end page is always interacting with, here this is one example here, that front end page UI page is always interacting with a server page. This server page always interacts with database. Here this is the application. Here front end page we can develop it by following these all programmings: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, here jQuery, here jQuery, Ajax, here Bootstrap, here lessons as, then responsive design, then bootstrap is over, lessons as and responsive design. Yeah, project, one real-time project. I'll explain to you. This will goes every Saturday session. Every Saturday I'll go with the one real-time project session. Real-time project. Okay. So real-time project, one implementation of project I'll explain to you, and every day in my class I'll explain topic, and the topic related task I'll give to you. So you have to complete the task and send your information to us. So that way we have to create. So this is our UI page. UI is interacting with a server page. Server is connecting to database. These all interactions you can observe here in every front end page. In every front end page, this UI page always interact with the server page. Server is interacting with the database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front end to server to database. Here this server page, what happened here, that server page, here that server page, we can able to develop it by, here this is our server page. That server page we can able to develop it by MySQL or SQL Server or Oracle. So like this, any one, PHP, .NET, any one server programming will use it here. Here, PHP page or a Java page or a .NET page. Any one server programming, we can use it here to create this server page. To create this type of server programming, we have to use any one server programming. That way we have to develop it. Today is 14th November 2022 at 6 a.m. Yeah, this server page we can able to develop it by any one server program. So just now we observed here this PHP page is one example here. Front end page is developed by UI programming. Those all involved all these. Along with this, present development is going on in the framework level. This is one user interface content, course content. Okay, here to develop that user interactive page, we always use, along with these all, we have to use any one front end page and server page and database, right? So to create this type of environment, we have to know about this server page is interacting with your database. So these all interactions, whatever we are creating here, these all in To create these all interactions, we have to use along with this all content, we have to learn any Angular or React or Node.js. If you know that, then it will be easy to enter into the UI world. In UI programming, if you want to be a developer, you have to know all these topics. Along with that, if you know any one framework, then it will be helpful to join as a front-end developer. Okay, here we are in front-end programming. To create this front-end programming, what all required we can see here. User interface, here this user interface is connecting with a server page. A server is connected with database. So databases are here. We no need to learn any database, any server programming. Why? Because if you are a full stack developer, then only you have to know any one database, any one server programming. If you want to be a front end developer, you can go with any one framework of front end. So server side, they are looking for framework developers, PHP, Laravel framework, Java, Spring Hibernate framework, .NET related frameworks. So everywhere they are looking for the framework level programmers. Here in front end, they are looking for the framework programmers. Here who know Angular or React or Node.js. Here JavaScript frameworks. Yeah, JavaScript. In JavaScript, we can learn here. This is separate codes, Angular or React.js or Node.js. If you know any one framework, then it will be helpful to join as a server side developer. Sorry, front end, front end developer, front end, only front end. If you want to be a full stack developer, you have to know server and that server related framework and database and web services. If you know all those, then only you can be a developer, full stack developer. Full stack developers headache is too much. They have to take care of everything: front end errors, server errors, database errors, whatever the connection. So we will make all the connections. It should run properly. Otherwise, we cannot run proper output for the client. So everywhere, every field, they are looking for the framework developers. So here, whatever I wrote here, this is our front-end programming. This our programming always interact with a database. Database always interact with front-end page, is always interacting with a server page. A server is interacting with database. Database is interacting with front-end page. These all interactions here, to and fro interactions, you can observe here in every front-end programming. Okay, this time here, every time what we do here, server is interacting here, front end page is interacting with a server always interact with database. So in this interaction pages, here what happened here, whenever we submit our data to server, definitely we'll get some result. See, if I enter my proper input here, I can see that next level of the page, inbox page, Facebook inbox page. If I create my account with this Facebook, and if I sign in for my application, Facebook sign in application form, if I fill these details, if I click login, then I can see that inbox of the Facebook. So that inbox of the Facebook is coming from server accessing from database. These all interactions you can observe here in every front-end programming. So in every front-end programming, you can observe here front-end page always interact with the server page. Server will interact with database. These all interactions you can observe here. See here, I already logged in for this go to training. You can see here in this go to training how the interaction is. Here in this go to training link, you can see that here this is our front end page. I already log in for this. See what all the links are available, how many students are registered. These all tabular information is coming from server page. This total tabular information is coming from server page. This server page will access this total database results, database data from this data, total columns, all these columns of data is connected to server page. That server is interacting with a database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front end page. Front end interact with the server, server interact with database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front end programming. Yeah. Here we are interacting with a application here, Facebook application. This Facebook application, we can develop it like this. Here, server programming here, front-end page is interacting with the server, server interacting with the database. These all interactions you can observe here. If this is our front-end programming, this front-end programming is interacting to server, server interacting to database. These all interactions you can observe here in every front-end programming. So here as of now, I'm going to explain these all topics in the next 2 months. Almost 40 to 45 hours, 40 to 45 hours of session, Monday to Friday topic session. Total duration, I'm going to cover our topics all like this. So final achievement, what we can achieve after this 2 months of time, 45 hours or 2 months of time. You can see here one attractive user. Yes, yes, please mute. You can see that some attractive user interfaces you can see here. Uh, Here AVEC drinks. Here you can create that AVEC drinks site here. In that site, you can see that every loading time, this is one drink site. Here, every loading time, every refreshment time, that web page will change its theme. See here, every refreshment time, the theme of the application is changing. Complete theme of the application is changing here for every refreshment time. So that is possible by our front-end programming. See, color, complete theme is changing, not only color, complete theme is changing here. So once again, if I refresh it, see here how it is changing. This way, we can create our front-end page. So always front-end page is interacting with a server page, a server is interacting with the database. So every refreshment time, that application is changing its theme. So this is possible by our front-end programming. See, if I click go down, see here, I'm clicking down button of my application. See, content is coming up, can is coming in the front of the application. Front means coming in Z dimension, X, Y, Z axis time. Z dimension, it is looking like it is coming forward, forward from the screen. Okay, here means XY axis from the screen only XY axis, and this is Z axis. See here, it is sitting on one layer and content also going up like this. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front-end program. Not only the same interactions, this type of application development we can do it with our front end. See here, moving in oval shape. Okay, this way, see here, if I go up, see can is coming along with the movement. See can is coming down, can is coming up. So these all the list of themes here. These all the list of themes you can see here in this. Here list of themes are available here. If you click it, you can open that particular theme. Okay, that particular theme of the application you can open here. Yeah, you can see that particular application like this. So this way we can create our application. Here, if you are creating any application for the front end, that application we have to develop it in this way. Okay. This is the way of implementation of our front end page is interacting to server, server is interacting to database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front end programming. Here in every front end programming, you can see that type of output. See, if I click next button here, here you can see that all review information. See, complete page is not loading. Just only 1, 2, 3 are changing. See, here itself it is changing here. This is with Ajax call. Only page number is changing and content is changing in this white color one. But it is not refreshing my entire URL. It is not changing my URL. But I can see all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So this is with Ajax call. Here we'll learn one by one each and every topic, whatever is involved in any application. I'll show you with the sample examples and I'll show you with the real-time implementation. I'll take one URL from the website, from the Google, any one URL will implement it from the scratch. How to use Bootstrap, how to use HTML, how to use CSS. So each and every topic, how to use it, I'll explain to you with the real-time implementation. After completion of my these all topics, you can go for any framework programming. Other faculty is conducting framework classes. So you can go for any framework programming. In that framework programming, you can understand how we can implement our application. Okay. Here JavaScript framework programming. If you know any one framework, JavaScript framework, then you can stick with the front-end environment. If you want to be a front-end developer, you have to know any one framework, then it will be helpful to join as a front-end developer. Okay. So this is totally about the front-end programming. In this front-end programming, we are going to see how we can interact our application with our programming. Those all you can understand here with this programming. Okay. Next, here we are interacting with your front-end programming here. Front-end, how it is interacting with the server. Server, how it is interacting with the database. We observed what all involving in this application. I'll show you. Here, this is one ring site. When I click down, there is no XY movement, but you can see some content here. Okay. Here, but see here, this is some content and that image. Both will change here. If I click next button, here, not working. Okay. Page stuck. Here, if I move next, so it has to move to the next one. Okay. No, it is not changing. Okay, fine. But here you can see that every number it is changing here, content is changing here with our programming. So 1, 2, 3 pages I can read it here. Here 1, 2, 3 pages I can read it here in this review page. Okay. This way I can write my review here. See here directly slide up, slide down effect here. Ask you a question. Here also it is slide up, slide down effect. This we can create it with our front end programming. These all colors it is showing here. When you right click and inspect element here, you can see that how the application was developed. Here, if you right click and inspect element on the application, you can see that how the web page was developed. Here you can see that here doc type, HTML, head and body. Here doc type, here it is document type, HTML tag, head tag and body tag we can use. If I remove the body tag, just delete the body tag. See here, you cannot see any content here. See, you cannot see any content here if I remove the body tag. So once again, I can refresh it. Here, refresh. So now you can see that here, if you right click and inspect element here, right click and inspect element here, you can see that console here. Sorry, here in elements, you can see that if I don't write the body tag, you cannot see any content. Here, if I don't write the head tag, delete this head tag. See, I deleted that head tag. You cannot see any content here. See, that output is coming like this. You cannot see any content here if I delete the head tag. Sorry, body tag. If I delete the head tag, see here how much big arrow symbols and big size image. Here some glass symbol, glass image. Here images, very big size images you can see here in the application. See, all are displaying, but there is no proper order for this. Everything, every content it is displaying here, but there is no proper output for alignment for the application. There is no proper alignment for the application if I don't write the head tag. So inside the head tag, we are writing here CSS code, JavaScript code, jQuery code, Ajax code. Those all codes we write it inside the head. Inside the head, we can write it here Inside this head only we can write it CSS code, JavaScript code, jQuery code, Ajax code, those all codes we write it inside the head. So this way we can develop our output. Here all front end programming, here front end is always interacting with the server, server always interact with database. But every HTML application, if you check it here, any HTML application you can check it here, every HTML application is developed by, here you can see that here it always developed by doc type HTML, here doc type HTML, here root tag as HTML start, HTML close. Here itself you can see that head start and close and body start and close. You can see that head tag and you can see that body tag. Okay. Here you can see that head and body for the application. Head tag and body tag you can show to the user by this application. Here head tag is used to write header information. Under this we can write it here style tag. So this is the basic HTML code for every application. If you check any application, take Facebook or matrimony or any website, Twitter, any website you can take here. Every website, yeah, social network websites or a newspaper websites or a recharge, mobile recharge or a banking account, any website you can open, that website will be developed by, here that website is developed by, see here you can see that latest update something it is giving for us. When you right click here, inspect element, here you can see that, see here, see you can see that how we can develop it. See doc type HTML head and body, you can see like this, doc type HTML head and body. Here it is document type and HTML tag, head tag and body tag. Every HTML application, every website, when you right click and inspect element, here you can see this basic code. If I don't write the header tag, I cannot apply CSS, I cannot apply JavaScript. If I remove the header tag, I cannot apply CSS code. But CSS and JavaScript code, sometimes we can also write it inside the body tag. Here, when I write it here, script tag and then style tag. Generally, script tag and style tag, we write it inside the header. And inside this body tag, here inside this here inside this body tag we can write it here h1 to h6 tags, all tags we can write it here, h1 tag, h2 tag, like that. H1 to h6 tags we use it here for writing all our headings. So one by one tags we are going to see completely HTML for the next 10 days. So HTML4, first I'll explain under this UI programming, HTML4. Every day, once one particular topic is over, after that topic, I'll explain to you how to implement that particular topic in the real time. How to use this particular topic in the real time, I'll explain to you. First few days I'll go for HTML4. Here our order of our web UI content. Here web UI course content. Here whatever I'm going to teach you, these all course content I'm writing here. HTML4 and 5, 4 and then CSS2. First 10 days HTML4, next 1 week to 10 days CSS2, next JavaScript to almost 20 hours. Major duration, half of our duration will sit for JavaScript. In JavaScript, I'll explain to you core concepts, advanced concepts, and then object-oriented programming, closures, prototype, everything related to JavaScript, I'll explain to you. Here, after that, I'll move to the jQuery, sorry, HTML5. In HTML5, to write few tags, we have to use for writing of few tags, we have to use the tag-based programming. HTML is completely a tag-based programming. So we'll use some tags here, HTML5 tags, by that we can execute it. Here next we'll go for CSS3. Next we'll go for jQuery. Here jQuery. Next one here Ajax. Here Ajax. So next 5 days, next 6 days, next like that will continue. Here Bootstrap, then lesson SAS. Here less programming and SAS programming. Here jQuery, HTML5, CSS3, jQuery, Ajax, Bootstrap, lesson SAS. So these all topics I'm going to cover you in our web UI programming. Here in our web UI course content, I am going to cover these all topics. So in this, here HTML4 and 5, CSS2 and 3, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax. Here these all topics I am going to cover in our web UI program. Okay. Here in JavaScript, I'll explain to you how to connect it with the JavaScript, how to execute our program. Those all I'll explain to you in this JavaScript content. Okay, here that way I'll execute my programs, that way only I'll develop my output. Here in this course content, here HTML basically creates the content of the web page. Just now we observed here every web page is started with the standard code. Every web page is starting with a doc type, HTML, head and body. So in between less than and greater than whatever code we write it, that is what here HTML code. HTML is a hypertext markup language. It is completely a tag-based programming. So if I write it here 1.html, that 1.html I can easily develop it for my application. Okay, if I am writing here 1.html, this 1.html is used to create our application here, and this 1.html is always used to write our HTML coding. This HTML coding, this is the HTML standard coding. Inside this HTML page only, we are going to add CSS code, we are going to add JavaScript code. So in tomorrow session, what I'll do, I'll explain how to write HTML real-time project. I'll open one website, I'll design it as it is. So in front of you from the scratch. Designing part, front end, that application, home page, about page, login page, create account page. Like that, one by one pages, all how to create it, I'll show you in front of you. So by that, you can understand how to use our programming to develop our output. Okay. Yeah. Here, basic here UI programming we are discussing here. This is what here HTML page is connected, or HTML page we can write like this. Inside this HTML page only, using script tag we write JavaScript code. Using style tag we are going to write CSS code. So CSS code we can write, JavaScript code we can write, and HTML5, HTML4, CSS3, all codes we can write it inside the HTML page like this. So now you can see that here HTML page is interacting with your UI page, UI page is interacting with your server page. So these all interactions you can observe here in every front-end programming. In every front-end programming, you can see this type of application. So in this time, what happened here? If you are developing any front-end application, that front-end application has to submit their details to the server page. Server, so we never interact with any server. As of now, I'll explain just in our course how much server knowledge is required. That much I'll explain to you. But we are not going with any complete server level programming. And database. So whatever details you are submitting from the front-end page using HTML page, that input tag, text box, buttons, radio buttons, in that whatever data is filled, that data I can able to submit to server page. Server will interact with the database, it will store our data in the database. So that time what happened here, whenever we are submitting our data to server, definitely what happened here, that server page has to store our details in the database. So front end is always interacting with a server. Server will store our data in the database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front end to server, server to database. Those all interactions you can observe here in every front end programming. So here in this time what we are doing here, front end page, server programming, database. These all interactions you can observe here in every application. So as of now, we discussed what is the use of web UI programming, what all involving in that, to create a real-time application, what all involving in that, front end, server, database, what all important there. And if you develop any application with this, what is the use of HTML? What is the use of CSS? So where we can use it? If we have started implementing any real-time project, where we can use CSS part, where we can use JavaScript part, where we can use jQuery part. Like that, piecewise. So separate programming, how we can use it and where we can use it. Those all I'll explain to you in the coming tomorrow session. Okay. Today, tomorrow is a demonstration time, and Wednesday onwards, I'll start my first session of uh, UI programming. Okay, just last the Saturday I start completed my UI programming. Every day recordings I'll update in OneDrive. So that drive you can hear almost 50 hours sessions I have conducted for that before batch. Okay, you can see that everyday recordings I'm uploaded in OneDrive from Durgasoft. I'll get OneDrive. That Gmail drive I'm going to share with you. In that drive only I'll store my yeah, with that drive I can be in contact with you. Everyday recordings, paint files, programs, everything I'll share there. So from there only you can access my everyday classes, everyday recordings. Even if you miss your class, you can get it from this. Here this recording will be shared with a number of students who are registered for this course. Okay, who are completed their registration. For them this is previous batch. Like this I'll create your batch, 6 a.m. batch. Here like this I shared with all the students. Almost 20-25 students will be there. Depends on that attendance. A few students will come to the class. Here recordings, here you can see that all recordings here, all recordings I uploaded here. See, 20 to 52, 53, 54. Here total 54 recordings. You can check it here. And here you can see programs. Here HTML4 programs, HTML5 programs, CSS2 programs, CSS3 programs, every programming, all separate folders I'll create it, and I'll create one real-time project. I'll show you one real-time project. Okay, recordings, everyday documents, course content, lessons as programming, all contents I'll upload here. They are all course content, topic wise, all separate doc files I have. All doc files I'll upload here. So from this you can access all the everyday recordings, drive and paint files. Whatever I'm explaining in the paint window, that all paint files I'll upload here. So from here you can check it how we can use our programming, how we can implement our programming. Those all you can understand from this. Okay, yeah, like this I'll explain to you each and every programming. Yeah, that's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow 6 sharp 6 5, like that I'll join in the session. Today this go to meeting link give me so many redirections after login, and this go to training link, so that's why I joined late. Yeah, up to now any doubts?
So, hi, this is Arun, and I have a doubt. Uh,
Yes.
so this today's session, I mean, even I had some issues. I joined late, so I
Okay.
can find recording in a different link that you will be sharing,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, you contact Bhavani ma'am. She will share today's recording where she uploaded that link. She will share with you. I'm sharing her number in this chat window.
okay,
I'm sharing her number in this chat window. You can contact her after the class. You can immediately contact her. She will let you know where to find recordings. She'll
okay,
upload it in one drive, one Gmail uh, drive. Sorry, YouTube drive. I think not in Gmail as of now. For demos time, she'll upload it in one what we call YouTube drive. YouTube. After that, she'll upload it in one drive. The drive will be shared with you. This is her number. Whoever have doubt, any class link or link not working or any issues, you can contact her. She will let you know how to get the response.
Got
Okay.
it. Mhm.
Yeah. Any other doubts?
Yeah, and you were talking about Angular and React. So when
Yes.
we go into JavaScript,
Yeah.
so that is where you are going to share the basics of the Angular, and we are going to just move on, or
No, no, there is no basic part here. Angular is different. It works on TypeScript, but the similarity will be there. Similarity will be there. Like JavaScript programming, we have TypeScript and Angular. You will learn it in Angular class.
got it. So JavaScript is a different. I mean, right now we are just using JavaScript in this course, but Angular is a different framework. Without,
Yeah,
I
it,
mean,
it works
which
on
has
JavaScript.
got it. So JavaScript, can I consider it as a basic thing
Basic,
to? Yeah.
basic into Angular or React. Yeah. Any other doubts? Yes, any other doubts? Yes. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask your questions. So by that I can understand how you are really interested in this course. Namesake, if you attend the class, no use. If you practice, if you keep your time for practice, 1 hour for listening the class, 1 hour for practice, 2 hours if you have it, then only attend the class. Just a namesake, if you attend the class, no use. If you attend Angular, React all at a time or attending 5, 6 courses at a time, no use. Just go one by one. Yeah. Any more doubts?
So we are talking about Ajax and Bootstrap, jQuery. So as part of UI content, where we are using it, like in the HTML programming itself, we'll be using, or it's going to be different.
Angular, what you are asking?
No, no, Ajax, Bootstrap, jQuery.
Ajax Bootstrap. I'll let you know. Tomorrow, one by one, I'll let you know how to use it.
Okay, I mean, just a high level, I want to understand where we are using those things. Sure, we can see tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes. Angular based JavaScript. Can we learn Angular based JavaScript? Yeah, Angular based only. Angular is a framework of JavaScript. We learn JavaScript, alphabets of JavaScript, you'll learn here. That sentence forming grammar part is Angular. Like that will be there. You can learn separately. Course content, you can get it from that number, what I shared. That is Bhavani ma'am's number. You contact her for the course content. Yeah. Okay. That's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow for the continuation of class. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Peter, James, Pravalika, Rams, Rohit. Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you. Let me continue. Yeah. Here, Web UI. Yesterday I explained little bit introductions on Web UI technologies. I'll revise the session today and I'll continue today's topic. Here we are discussing Web UI technologies. Here, Web UI. Here UI, here it is user interface. We can create user interactive page by learning these all topics. So we are going to see here HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, like that. We have some topics. After learning all these topics, you can be a front-end developer. If you want to be a UI developer, you have to know all these topics along with uh, Here you have to know all these topics here along with any one framework. Angular or React or Node, any one framework, if you learn, then it will be helpful to join as a front-end developer. Here, user interface. We can create user interactive page by learning this UI technologies. Here, UI, here it is user interface. What is this user interface here? Suppose if I am entering one URL here in the browser, www.twitter.com. So whenever I enter twitter.com, I can see that home page of the Twitter. See here, when I enter Twitter here, I can see twitter.com like this. Here, I'm able to see that twitter.com homepage like this. Here, now when I want to go for sign in with Google or sign in with phone anyway, phone number, anyway you can sign in here. But whatever you are seeing here, this Twitter page, it is showing us some social media uh, network website. See, if I enter here facebook.com, I can see that Facebook one user interface. One user interface I can see with the Facebook. Here, if I enter here online recharge, online recharge, mobile recharge, prepaid recharge, all recharge websites will be there. Here you can go any one site and you can complete your registration. Here sign in account, here pay the bill, phone number, circle, amount, view plans. Here I can view the plans here depends on the number. Okay. This way we can see that here whatever application we are developing here, that application we can easily develop it with our front-end programming. Here this is one UI. Whatever, if you enter any URL in the browser, whatever you can see in the browser, that is what here front end. So whatever you can see in your application, that only we call it as front end. Here to create this front end programming, here to create that type of programming, so here we have to know this is one front end. To create this type of front end, we are discussing here. This is one Facebook web page. Here you can see that email ID password when you click sign up button. So I can able to see my inbox page. Here fee recharge, here recharge account. But if I enter mobile number, circle and plan, I can do that recharge of my application. See, if I want to sign in for this, I can see that sign in page for this Amazon. See, everywhere some text boxes, buttons, submit buttons will be there. Submit button. After entering your details, you are submitting. So whenever you submit your URL from the from your browser, if you are submitting anything, it always redirect to, after submitting that particular page, it always redirect to server page. When if I'm submitting from this Amazon, I'll click on submit button. So because of this submit button, I can connect to server page. This server page always connected to database. Here, this is the one front end page. It is connecting to server page. Here, this server page always connected to database. This type of interactions you can see in your front end page. Here, this is one UI page or a front end page. Here, front end page of the application. Here, this one here it is a server page. Here it is a server page. Here, this is what here server page, and this is what here database. Here database. This way we can create it. Here Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, like Sybase, MongoDB, like that. We have so many database servers. We have so many databases. So if we use these databases, then we can develop one complete application. One complete application you can develop it by learning these all server-side programmings. Here, this is our front-end page. In this front-end page, we are connecting to server page. PHP page, Java page, .NET page, these all are server programmings. Server programmings everywhere, server side and front-end side, they are looking for the framework level developers. Here framework, this front-end programming, to create that type of front-end, we have to know HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, here jQuery, here Ajax, here responsive design, then bootstrap, here lessons as, here responsive design, lessons as, here HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, Ajax, responsive design, bootstrap, lessons as, 6 a.m. What is your question? Difficult to you? Rohit, I'm conducting two batches. One is offline at afternoon 12 p.m. One is 6 a.m. So very soon I'll start after 15 days like that. 9 p.m. I'll start one more session. 9 p.m. new batch I'm going to start after 15 days. This time 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. I started HTML. If you want for 4 or 5 backup classes, I can give 6 p.m. I'm in HTML 4. First topic, few tags are completed. 6 a.m., 6 p.m., 12 p.m. and 9 p.m. it will be after few days. Yeah. 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 Yes, Rohit. Okay. Yeah. Here HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, lessons has, and then JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, Bootstrap, lessons has. Here responsive design, then project. Rohit, I cannot listen your voice. One real-time project, I'll explain to you. JavaScript, HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, jQuery, Ajax, responsive design, Bootstrap, lessons as, and one real-time project. I'll explain to you every Saturday session. Monday to Friday, I'll take topic session, and every Saturday, I'll conduct project session. This way, I'll continue my class. Here, I'm discussing front-end programming. Under this front-end programming, yeah, but you need backup class for that. You can join today. Today 6 p.m. You can ask Bhavani ma'am. Bhavani Durga Soft organizer. I'll share her number here in this chat window. You contact her. Yeah, assignment I'll give you once the topic is over. Everyday assignment I'll give you, and project session will be every Saturday session. If you are interested to go for examination, I'll conduct exams. Every Saturday after practicing, after project session, I'll conduct exam. In that exam, you can understand where you are, where is your status and all, means where you are, how you are practicing is going on. Those all you can understand with this. Yeah, by the exam you can understand how your practicing is going on. And real-time implementation, every time, suppose if I'm explaining table tag, the table tag related practical example where we are using, those all I'll explain to you in the here those all I'll explain to you in the class itself. 80% of syllabus, here 80% of syllabus you can learn here itself. Bhavani ma'am's number I shared in this chat window. Please all of you note down this for the future reference. All link details, class timing, other class timings, when is the demo, what is the drive. Every day I'll share in one drive, everyday classes, the drive information, everything you can get it. Everything you can get it from that, all informations you can get it from that number. Yeah, HTML 4 and 5. Yes, any more doubts? Yeah, you can ask her to join, him or her to join in the same link for 6 a.m. Other link 6 p.m. Few 4 classes are over for that, 4 5 classes, and other link is 9 p.m. I'll give you backup for 6 p.m. that 4-5 classes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, she want to join. She was trying from 6 o'clock. It was not coming to her.
Give this number. I'm giving some number here. 3, 4.
Okay.
That how she is trying in the app or
From this app only.
app only. So directly
Yeah.
join with the number. I'm sharing one number. This ID she can enter in that meeting ID place where it is
Okay.
asking meeting ID. If she enter directly, she can join. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Here I'm going to cover these all topics in this web UI programming. Here is our front end programming. In this front end programming, I'm going to cover these all topics. HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3. Like this, I'm explaining all the topics. Here, front end programming here. This is completely a front end programming. I'm going to discuss HTML 4 and 5. Yeah, number will not that ID meeting ID is for only few days, not for all days. Yeah. Here I'm discussing front-end programming. Under this, HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, responsive design. These all topics I'm going to cover in front-end. But here presently, who wants to? Yes, yes, please mute. Who wants to be a front-end developer? They have to know, along with this all topics, they have to know any one framework. Angular or React or Node, any one framework, if they know, it will be helpful to join as a front-end developer. Okay, here frameworks. Framework. If you want to be a front-end developer, you have to know any one framework here. That is JavaScript frameworks. Here JavaScript framework. Here the frameworks are here Angular, React.js, Node.js, like this, any one JS, if they know, then they can be a front-end developer. Not only front-end side, every server side, front-end side, everywhere they are looking for framework developers. Okay, everywhere they are looking for framework developers. Framework development is easy for developing the application. Framework development will be easy for developing our application. 6, 8. Yeah. Here is HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, responsive design, Bootstrap, lesson size. These all topics I'm going to cover in our course.
Earlier Saturday lessons are.
Saturday, that lesson class
It is last.
not talking. I'll make you all in mute. Yeah. Just 1 second. I'll back. Yeah. What is your question? Framework. Framework will be covered as a separate one. In this course, I'm going to take HTML, these all topics, what I explained. Yeah, this for to cover this content, I'll take nearly 40-45 hours of sessions. Okay, framework again, it will take next 40 hours like that. Okay, yeah. Here we are in UI programming. That UI is whatever the web page you can see in the front page of the application, that only we call it as UI. Here, whatever the web page you can see in your application, that only we call it as front end page. or a front part of the application. Whatever you can see here, when you enter any URL in the browser, whatever the web page you can see, that only the front page of our application. Next, we can go for here. Next, I'm going for here to develop this front-end programming. What all required? Here, email ID, password. Once I click sign up button, I can able to log in for my application. So what all involving here? This is what front end we understood. So if I enter the correct email ID, password, then I can log in. If I don't enter any details, it will give you error messages. If I write proper details, I can able to see inbox page. To show that inbox page, it will connect to that server. Server will connect to database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every front-end programming. In every front-end programming, you can see that type of output. Okay, here we are discussing here front-end programming. Under this, if you enter the proper details, then you can log in for our application. If you don't enter the proper details, you cannot log in for that particular application. You'll get error messages. That error messages will come from JavaScript. Here, what all involving in this front end, we'll see. Here, front end, here if you right click and inspect element here, you can see that web page. Here, doc type, HTML, head and body. Here, we are discussing here doc type, HTML, head and body tag. So here itself, you can see that output here. Here itself, you can see that web page here, doc type, HTML, head and body tag. Here, if I remove the body part of the application, just delete the body. See, you can see that basic code of the application here, doc type, HTML, head and body. If I don't write the body tag, you cannot see any content here. Refresh, it will pack. Here, now if I write here, doc type, HTML, head and body, inside this body tag, if I write any content, then it will show that output. Here, you can see that here, head tag is used to write our header information. If I don't write the head tag, what happens? See here, I'm removing that head section. See, if I don't write the body tag, you cannot see any content. If I don't write the head tag, if I don't write the body tag, you cannot see any content. If I don't write the head tag, that output will come like this. Here, this way we can develop our output. Here, head and body. Head tag is used to write header information. Body tag is used to write body part of the application. Now you can see that how we can write that head and body, how we can display our output, you can understand here. Here, now this is one head and body. Under this, here body tag is used to write body part of the application. Head tag is used to write header information. Here doc type HTML. Under this, we can write it here head and body tag. So now you can see that here body part. If I don't write the body part, just delete. So if you are not writing the body part, you cannot see any content. If you don't write the head part, it is not showing the proper alignment for the application. Content will be there, but there is no proper alignment for the content. See here, I'm removing that head tag here, just delete. By that, you cannot see any content. So you can see the content, but there is no proper alignment for this content. No colors, no background, no center alignment like this. So this way you can see that output here. If I don't write the proper alignment for the application, I'm not writing proper alignment for the application. So here, this way we can write it here. We can write our output like this. So this way we can execute our program. Here itself I'm writing here doc type HTML head and body. This is the basic structure for the HTML page. Here as of now we understood what all involving in the web page. Not only web page, it may be mobile app or a web app or a desktop app. Any application, front end will be there, server code and database. If you are submitting anything from the front end, it always reach to server code, access the data from the database, then it will back it input to front end page. That front end page will give as our output for our program. That way we can develop it. Okay, that is the way of execution of the code. Okay, here doc type HTML head and body, we use it here for creating that application. Next here I'm using here doc type HTML head and body, I'm using here for creating content of the web page. Next here when I write it here doc type HTML head and body, so here I'm developing that HTML application. We always write it here doc type HTML. Under this we write here root tag of HTML start and close like this. Here itself we can write it here head start and close, and here itself we can write it here body tag start and body tag close. This way we can write. Here head tag, this is the standard code for any HTML page. Standard code of HTML page we write like this. Here you can save it this file with 1.html. So this is the standard code of HTML. Where we write our code, where we can execute, we have to use some IDE for writing the code. IDE. IDE here it is integrated development environment. Here integrated development environment is the IDE. So this IDE I'll use it here to create our application. Here IDE here Angular or React.js or Node.js. Here Node.js or Vue.js. Here Vue.js, some JS we use it here. Sorry, these all are frameworks. Here VS Code or Sublime Text or Dreamweaver. Here Dreamweaver. Here VS Code, Sublime Text, Dreamweaver, or here here Autumn brackets here like this. We have some editors, so many editors we have. It's an integrated development environment. So while writing the code itself, it will give you that related methods and all. So when I write open tag, it will write closing tag. So all these information will come along with our web page. So if I am developing, so I have to use any one IDE. So if I don't use, no problem, you can run, you can execute your program. But if you are writing here, yeah, Autumn is a IDE. Yeah, if you don't use this IDE, you can run your program. But here if you want to run with IDE, if you run with IDE, then it will be easy for development, easy for executing the program. Easy for development, easy for execution of the program. Here I'm explaining here doc type HTML head and body. This is totally comes under HTML coding. Here I'm writing here HTML. This is our front end page. Front end page we can develop it with this all HTML coding. Here next we can see here doc type HTML head and body. Here we are using here IDE. VS Code, Sublime Text, Dreamweaver, Autumn brackets. Because of all these, you can execute your code. Here, next we can write it here. Because of this server code, you can execute your program. So now, this server side, we have so many frameworks. Here, PHP side, Laravel is a framework. Java side, Spring Boot, Hibernate is a framework. .NET side, .NET frameworks we have. And IDE. With PHP, Zend framework and Zend IDE we can use. Eclipse or NetBeans we can use it for Java development IDEs, and .NET, that Microsoft tool will be there. Some IDE will use it to develop .NET application. So everywhere they are looking some IDE. They are using some IDE for easy development. So if you know all these topics, what I explain here, if you know all those topics, then you can develop complete application. Why we use frameworks? One complete application, I can develop it by learning all these topics. But why this framework? Some extra enhancement we have. Single page application. Within the single page, you can display multiple web pages. Like that, npm server we use it, node server will install it. So some extra easy development environment. Ready-made framework is a ready-made architecture. Ready-made architecture will be available, so it will give you less time for developing the application. It will give you less time for developing the application. That way we can develop it. Here, as of now, we are in front-end programming. To develop this front-end programming, we have to know how to use this front-end programming in developing our application. Here, server code, Java code, database code, all codes, we use it here to develop our application. Here, JavaScript is a framework. So in this framework, you can see Angular, Node, React, like that. We can use it, some frameworks. Because of that frameworks, we can develop our output. HTML 4 and 5, CSS 2 and 3, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, responsive design, Bootstrap, lessons as. These all topics will use it here to develop our output. Okay. Yeah. Here these all topics I'm going to cover in our course. But framework will be conducted by other faculty. I'm conducting basic course and other faculty is conducting framework classes. But parallelly, if you want to run the framework classes, you have to wait for JavaScript topic here. Once I enter in JavaScript topic, that day onwards, you can parallelly start any one framework. Angular or React or Node. If you know any framework, then it will be helpful to join as a front-end developer. After completion of 2 months or 2.5 3 months, parallelly if you start it, after 15 days you can start framework. So parallelly if you run both the courses and if you have time, 2 hours, you are 1 hour for UI basic course and 1 hour for UI framework class. So if you spend 2 hours for classes, 2 hours you have to spend it for practice. If you spend 2 hours for practice, then only attend parallelly. Otherwise, don't attend. If you don't practice the class, after completion of the course, you cannot learn the subject. Okay. Here I'm discussing framework. And that framework classes are Angular, React, Node, any framework, we can use it here to develop our output. Next one here, HTML. What is a HTML? What is the use of it? And if you learn this all topics, what type of websites we can develop it. So I'll show you some attractive user interfaces here. Some attractive user interfaces. Here, use Blink. This is one attractive user interface here, UI front-end page. Here you can see that how the application is showing our output. Here useblink.com, see here. So it is displaying one video here. If I go down button, see I'm clicking down button of my keyboard. See some content will come up. See content is coming up and coins are rotating in the 3 dimension. Third dimension, 3-dimensional X, Y, Z axis. Here, this type of output we can create it with our front-end programming. Here, whenever we click we use blink.com. When I click down button here, you can see that output like this. See, every time the video is starting. Here, video is starting. When I go down and if I start it, again it is starting. So this way. Video playing always starts here and the content it is coming in this way. See, if I go down, see now you can see cannot see any content. Now you can see the content. Here content blowing effect. This type of effect we can create it with our front-end programming. Using front-end programming, you can create this type of application. Here, from here onwards, you can scan. See here, mouse scan symbol you can see here. See, normally background black and content is white. If you mouse over here, you can see that background white, content black, this way. Here you can see that content will be like this and here like this. This type of effect we can create it with our application. Here now you can see that here scan code we can write it like this. Next here, we can show you that content is moving in right to left direction. Here, content will be displayed like this. Here, this way we can create our output. See here, scan code, QR code, all will be there. Here, this way we can write it. Here, scan go. Okay, so this type of attractive user interface we can create it with our front-end programming. Not only like this type anything you can create it. Here, another one more website. AVEC Drinks is one website. Here I'm developing that website here. If you click down button here you can see that if I click down button here, that can will come up, and every refreshment time, here I'm refreshing my application. Every refreshment time, here complete application structure is changing. Here once again, if I refresh it, see how the content is changing here. Here every time content is changing here like this. Okay, means the theme of that application is completely changing. Theme of the application is completely changing here because of this. Okay, so when you click down button here, you can see that, see content will come up. See content is coming up like this. Here content is coming up like this. This type of effect we can create it with our front-end programming. Here this type of effect we can create it with our front-end programming. This way. Here this way we can create our output. Okay. Here next we can write it here. This type of effect we can create it with our front-end programming. See when you click up arrow, see third dimension, can is coming up and content is moving backside, remaining area is transparent. When you completely reach the top end point, so complete clear picture it is showing for us. Background clear picture. See this way. Here this type of event handling all we can develop it with our front-end programming. Here when you click login page, it is separate page. Without entering any details, if you click submit button, you will get definitely error messages. Invalid email address or password, something we are getting as the error message. This error message, I'll get it here without here with login. With if I don't enter any details, just if I click login button, I'll get my details like this. Now you can see that how we can implement it. So if I click login button here, you can see that invalid mail address and password. Here, suppose if the details are invalid, that time we have to enter our proper details. If I don't enter the proper details in the email ID and the password, then I cannot see my inbox page. If I enter the proper details, username, password, then only I can see that next page, login page of my application. Next login page of my application, I can show to the user by this. This way we can execute our code. So whenever we write it here, creating of application, we can do it here, login page here. So once I click login button, I can see that login page of my application. In this time, when I enter my details here, I can see that home page or a login page, whatever I'm creating here, that I can easily develop it and easily interact with my application. That way I can develop it. Here I'm able to create my account like this and I'm able to implement my output like this. This way we can execute our program. Here next we are going for here front end page of our application. We can develop it with our programming like this. Next one, how we can create front end page, this Amazon, this type of web pages, how to develop it we observed. In tomorrow's session, what I'll do, I'll give you 1 or 2 examples on the each topic. On each topic, I'll give you 1 or 2 examples. So by that, you can understand how to use those all topics in the live deployment. I'll show you. live deployment. I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you one real-time example. I'll randomly pick out one URL. I'll develop it in front of you in every Saturday session. But Saturday I'll cover whatever topic I covered Monday to Friday. That topic only I'll cover it in Saturday session in the project. Uh, at the end of the course, we'll completely remove the code and we'll develop it. Whatever the last topic, that topic on the top of all what we use it for real-time development, that topic I'll use it at the end of the course. And Monday to Friday topic session, Saturday is a project session. Project time, if you required examination, I'll conduct exam, alphabets exam, I'll conduct it. You can complete that sheet. I'll send to your mail, or I'll give you in front of this. You can write all answers here itself in the screen, or you can write it on the paper and you can take a pic and you can send to me. Or for multiple choice questions, I'll ask you. By that, you can analyze how your practice is going on. And then every session, every session I'll upload it in OneDrive. Here, Gmail Drive will be created for us. So Durga Soft Organizer will create one Gmail drive. That drive will be shared with us. Here Gmail Drive, we can access this drive. You can see that all programs here. These all programs you can practice every day. So by that you can understand how we can implement our implementation, how we can implement our programming, how we can use it in the practice time. And if you miss any session here, by that you can understand here how to write the program and all. Anyway, I'll give you backup. Recordings, everyday recordings will be shared in this drive only. Here recording separate folder, I'll maintain it here. And we can test and separately maintain it. These all folders, documents, paint files, programs, we can test and recordings, all will be shared with you. This way I'll continue my class. After completely learning this course, you can definitely you can build your own website. If you are zero in programming level, no problem, you can learn this subject. Why? Because if it is Java or .NET or Python, programming skills are required. But for this UI programming, no need. Tag based programming, everything you can simply learn it here itself in the class. Okay. Yeah. Up to now, any doubts? I'll make you unmute. Yes. If you have any doubt, you can freely ask. Yes, Lakshmi. Cannot hear your voice. I think you are talking.
స్టార్ట్ చేయలేదు టాపిక్స్ చెప్పింది రేపటి నుంచి చెప్తాను సిలబస్ అంతా డ్రైవ్ చూపించింది డ్రైవ్ లో వీడియోస్ అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాను సిలబస్ అది అప్లోడ్ చేస్తారా అని చెప్పింది
Are you asking me?
మండే టు ఫ్రైడే ఏమో క్లాస్ చెప్తారండి
No, she is talking with someone. Yes, any more doubts? Okay, fine. That's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow 6 a.m. for the continuation of class. Thank you. Here we are in Web UI. Yesterday we discussed what is the use of HTML and all. This little bit information we discussed yesterday. Here, next we are going for, here first of all, we discussed that topics. Yeah, under Web UI, what I'm going to cover, I'm explaining here. Here I'm explaining Web UI technologies. First topic is HTML4. Generally, I'll explain HTML4. Second topic is CSS2. Third one is JavaScript. Yeah, fourth one is HTML5. Then fifth one will be CSS3. Then sixth one is jQuery. Here seventh one is Ajax. Here eighth one is responsive design. Then here 8th one is responsive design. Then 9th one will be bootstrap. Here 10th one will be less and SAS programming. Here less and SAS. These all comes under our web UI programming. Here we are going to see these all topics are comes under web UI programming. Here lessons as, and finally I'll explain every Saturday and end of the day, end of the course, I'll explain project session. So every Saturday I'll conduct project session. Yeah, this way I'll continue my class. So let me save it. 6 a.m. Today's date 16.